Righty, we are live. About time we're live. Hello everybody, Net Narrator here. Now let me just make sure everything is up and working because it has been a little while. It's been a lot longer than I thought it would be. Let me just make sure. Righty. Good, audio is fine. Plenty of audio issues in the preparation for this, so hopefully it'll be absolutely fine. So, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. I'm very sorry that I've not been able to stream for the last, 20 odd days. I mean, I did deliberately take a break over the Christmas holiday, except one of my aunts gave me COVID. I'm pretty sure it was COVID and not the flu because I'm still feeling the ongoing effects from it. In that I am utterly drained of energy. I don't just think that was the Christmas meal that I had. But, you know, it is what it is. It's not something within my control, really. I didn't know my aunt had COVID. Indeed, my other family members who also got COVID did not know that she had it. She obviously did, and she was coughing and splushing a little bit. So I'm not too happy with her, especially because it's massively fucked up with my plans here. That said, I am mostly recovered enough to be able to stream. And as for what we're going to be streaming, we are going to aim to finish Dataset 1, which is this. Now, we've done 2,000 of these files already in Dataset 1. These were... First stream was 1,000, second stream was another 1,000, making it 2,000, and I've scouted ahead, and to finish Dataset 1, it is 1,150 files, so a little bit bigger than usual, really. But I'm going to try and power through, I'm going to try and do that. That is my goal, to get Dataset 1 down, even though I'm not 100%, I'm about 90, 80 maybe, you know, this has got to be done. And I know not all of the data has actually been released. There's apparently a lot more that has not been released yet, despite the fact that the US Department of Justice is meant to release the entire lot. Nothing I can do about that. But what I can do is I can go through what we've already got. So I'm looking to do that. Another rule of what we do here, this isn't to make like a political opinion or take a political side or anything. I think too many people are saying, oh yeah, this implicates the Republicans or this implicates the Democrats. No, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I am on the team of the victims. And speaking of, let me just check the description. There we go. So all proceeds from these streams, like donations, super chats, all that, I intend for all of them to go to the Speak Out Act Reclaim organization, SAW, which is founded by Virginia Giuffre, who's unfortunately now deceased. And while the organization is not currently accepting donations, and I was unable to set up any kind of official fundraiser via YouTube, I will donate the proceedings when it is possible to do so to them. But indeed, if the organization becomes defunct or anything like that, or is not possible to donate to them, I will go to a similar or I'll donate it to a similar organization. If not, and if that's the case, I will make a post about it so people know, and maybe even, you know, make suggestions on where to send it, really. So that's that out of the way. So as I say, we're looking to finish Dataset 1. There are 8 datasets altogether. And then we'll go for these. I mean, the first phase of declassified Epstein files, I mean, it may be that I'll just bounce to these at the end of towards the end of a stream, because they're not very long. There's also video footage. But this is just of Epstein's cell on the night he allegedly killed himself. We got a few more here, so we'll be going through this. Some of these are in video format, and I can't exactly narrate a video, but let's just stick with it. We haven't even done this bit yet. This is the bit we're focusing on. Let's try and get it done today. So let me just make sure I can go to the... I want to go to the start. There we go. Okay. So, you can't see on the stream at the moment. Let me try and fix that. Sorry, I'm not the most technologically advanced. There we go. You should be able to see it there. Okay, well, Right. 5 minutes. We've got 6 views already. I mean, this is very impromptu. Like, there have been behind the scenes. There's been a lot of like false starts, and me really wanting to do a stream. Only, I felt sick, nauseous, and I can't stream if I'm gonna throw up during the like after the 50th photo. Although considering the material, some people might expect that. But yeah, as I say, I'm not 100%. You may hear me cough, snort, do whatever to try and clear my airwaves. That's not. Believe it or not, this is still the best that I felt in weeks. I can get very sickly sometimes. So yeah, but as I say, sorry that I was unable to fulfill my plans and initially fulfill my intended promise. But my promise is to still get all of this done. Is 2 or 3 weeks later than I anticipated because I was very, very ill this new year. Anyway, we're starting off, for point of reference, from image 2001 from dataset 1. I'm also going to have my notepad here so I can make the odd note for timestamps and stuff. So yeah, that's fine. So, and as a general rule, a lot of these are photos. If there's nothing to narrate, I will swiftly move on because we've got a lot to go through. So, nothing to narrate here. Nothing to narrate here. Nothing to narrate here. It's a fucking boiler room. Nothing to narrate here. Nothing to narrate here. Now that's weird. Nothing to narrate here. I think we've had this room before. This is one of the massage rooms. Nothing to narrate there. Now, what are we dealing with? I hate as well, I pointed this out in a few of the previous streams, how you can't, these videos aren't the best definition. So you can't really zoom into them without it being super pixelated, which may be intentional. A cynical person would say it's intentional, but, I mean, a lot of the FBI cameras, they're the like, old-fashioned ones. But yeah, it's, so for example, if I zoom on that, you might be able to see it better on your resolution, but for my full screen resolution that I'm looking at, you can't see it. But that's obviously a photo, as an example. Nothing to narrate there. Nothing to narrate there. Nothing to read there. Here we go. Okay, so this is a Bank of America statement. Leon D. Black, Deborah Black. Melanie, they haven't done a very good job with this redaction. And this isn't a PDF. Well, okay, this is a PDF, but this is done as a photo, so I can't necessarily... Well, no, maybe I can. Let's see what that says. Let's see if this can actually be pasted. Okay, no, it's partly illegible on the... I basically just posted it in Notepad, and that doesn't work. But this is a personal address, so I can understand that. Nothing incriminating, it's just the personal address of somebody. Online banking service allows you to check balances, track account, activity, and more. With online banking, you can also view up to 18 months of this statement online, and even turn off delivery of your paper statement. Enroll at bankofamerica.com. Well, I'm not advertising Bank of America. Deposit accounts, premium tiered interest checking. Leon D. Black, Deborah Black, Melanie Spinella, POA. Your account at a glance. Account number. Yeah, there's nothing really to read there. Okay, I'll talk about the interesting bits. Beginning balance on 010111. Okay, so this was in 2011. Oh fuck. $3,298,278.44. Ending balance on 013111. Significantly less. $848,406.77. Okay. Not the kind of thing I want to necessarily narrate, so I will speed past that because it's a bank statement essentially. Okay, nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. I mean, these look like guest huts or guest villas. Who's that guy up there? Are you talking about me, or are you talking about the weird pictures? Well, hello. Anyway, we're just getting started on this this round of the Epstein stuff. But yeah, there's some really weird ass. There are some weird ass stuff that we've seen before. Like, I think the fucking Bill Clinton picture for the first one takes the cake, though. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. So yeah, if you're just joining in, I just want to read stuff. So if it's pictures and stuff, I am just going to basically skim through it. But if there's anything readable, I'll do it. If it's, especially if it's relevant. If it's less relevant, there are parts I will select and skip over. But yeah, he does have a lot of weird pictures and a lot of weird statues. We saw it in the first couple of streams. Especially the pictures, I would say. From what we can see, he likes the really tacky 1950s, 60s, 70s kind of decor. Very old-fashioned. It's very, very weird. But you'll have to... I mean, I've done a few like highlights of the previous streams if you wanna have a look at that. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nope, nothing to read there. There's a storeroom. I think we've seen a lot of this before. Yeah, this is the servants' quarters. Nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Servants, staff? I don't know. That says I. Yeah, the FBI like to put their little references is A to Z, then double A to double Z, and so on and so forth. Alright, nothing to read there. 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 God, this better not be another boring ass stream. I want to read the juicy stuff. Nothing to read there. 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 God damn it, give me something to read. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Just one shitty bank statement so far. Give me something. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Please do not use this bathroom! Yeah. It's something to read. Like, you give me something to read after 50 photos of absolutely nothing, I'm gonna ham it. Anyway, nothing else to read there. Yeah, weird ass picture. Let's skip. Fucking hell. No. I mean, it's not a compromising photo, but still, it's a bit weird. Oh, I like that. That's the statue I actually like. I like the koala. Maybe some of my Australian subscribers can hook me up with one of those. Like a statue, not an actual koala. I've got my own two little gremlins, and they're already causing a lot of havoc. Maybe they'll show up during the stream. I hope they do. Clara especially, she's very affectionate. And Dexter, you might be able to... If you hear like a squeak or a meow in the background, that is Dexter. He's not in any pain or anything like that. He's occasionally trying to find his sister, or me, or he's just meowing for the sake of it. Like, believe me, he's done this for like the last week and a half. Ever since he said, "Oh, hello, that is a Clara." All right, well, we can actually show you to the audience if I get bored enough and you're up for it. Yeah, Clara, yeah. They've basically recently been neutered, so they're more used to me picking them up now, so we'll see. But let's get to business. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Nothing to read. Well, plenty to see, nothing to read. Likewise there. Likewise there. Nice seats, actually. But apart from that, nothing to read there. Although, then again, they do look like proper love seats, if you know what I mean. Sure, nothing to read there. I mean, I think first stream I was like reading logos on ladders and stuff. I was that bored. But no, we're not doing it here. Like, the aim of the game is to get to the end of dataset 1. If we end up doing it early, that's great. And I will try and fill up the stream with maybe a few of the other things that I know are fairly short. Low class and out of date for an island mansion? Absolutely. I suspect Epstein might have started clearing it out before the FBI got there. Clara, don't go behind my PC. Now, that's something else my cats like to do. Or my gremlins, I should say. They like to go behind my PC. They have turned it off twice. And that was more when they first decided to do it. Clara, get out from back there. There's a good girl. Well done. Would you like to come up and see the viewers? Are you going to let me pick you up? Okay, and I see a Dexter as well. Now, are you going to let me pick you up? You're a good girl. No. The answer to that question is no. She might be more receptive later down the line. But, I mean, let's be honest. If the cat's in the room, if she lets me pick her up, I'm going to have to show her to you. Yeah, I will show you the cats when they are receptive to me picking them up. Clara basically just jumped away. Dexter is a little bit more paranoid. So, they'll probably be up for it later. The fact that they're, running around by my feet is a good sign. So, you'll probably see them tonight. You'll probably at least see Clara. Dexter's a little bit more standoffish, really. Although ever since he's been neutered, he's been a lot better. But yeah, I got the cats neutered. It had to be done. It's like RSPCA, stray cats, all that kind of stuff, and it was paid for me, so that's absolutely fine. And it was all successful, all absolutely fine. They've no longer got their cones, and yeah, they're making a full recovery, and there was no pain whatsoever. So yeah, I'll just put all of that out there just in case people are like, oh, neutering, that's terrible. No, it isn't. It isn't. They're fine. Anyway, nothing to read here. And as far as I'm aware, Clara has not turned my PC off, so that's good. Nothing to read there. Oh, she has battered the USB mic a few times, so it defaults to my webcam, which is really shitty audio. I've had to re-record a bunch of stuff because of them. Anyway, this all says Voss. Very fancy. But apart from that, nothing to read there. LSJ. Okay, there is a notebook. They've shown me a picture of the fucking cover. Are we actually able to see what's in it? What do you reckon? Will the government let me do it? Yes! Yes! Something to read. Right, here we go. Oh, and no alcohol tonight because I'm still in recovery from illness. Although, now don't worry, this isn't drugs. This is medicine. This is to help clear my airways. Like, this isn't cocaine. I mean, it might be interesting to try cocaine one day, but I probably shouldn't. Anyway, 0700 to 1600. Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent there. T. Maxwell on duty. T. Maxwell. Don't know who that is. But Ghislaine Maxwell is the woman heavily involved in Epstein stuff who they've still got in prison. So this could be one of her brothers. 0700, all secured. 0730, Tor LSJ with redacted. And no, this isn't one of those redacteds I can unredact. Because it's not like a full Word or a full PDF written document. This is a picture. Or 10.4. 0800 issued an ATV. 0900 LSJ vessel relieved of backhoe and water. I think that's an asterisk there that says water tank. 0941 rounds completed, all in order. Yeah, this is there we go. 0943 LSJ vessel departs with backhoe and water tank. 1013 Phil departs with PRD vessel. 1044 one diving boat spotted, Juggler's Beach. 1054 rounds completed, all in order. 1059 staff personnel departs with RHIB. 1124 staff personnel arrives with RHIB. Anna on board. 1135 Phil arrives in PRD vessel. 1143 Juggler's Beach clear. 11:55, rounds completed, all in order. Mic arrives via BHIB. 13:22, rounds completed, all in order. 14:28, rounds completed, all in order. 15:14, staff personnel return in RHIB. 15:17, staff boat arrives. 1600, Team Maxwell off duty. Okay, let me do the rest of this first. Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. S. Shaw on duty. SS Shaw on duty or S. Shaw on duty? I want to say Shaw on duty. It's a capital S and a capital H afterwards, so it could be SS Hore as in HORE, not the rude way. 1600 to 0700 hours. 1645 hours, inspection of the LSJ, all in order. 1925 hours, inspection of the dock area, all in order. 2200 hours, inspection of the upper area of LSJ, all in order. 0300 hours, Thursday, August 1st, 2019, inspection of the shore areas, all in order. So, from what I can see, I'll add my reading comprehension here, this looks like a Harbour Master's book, or a Dock Master's book, because obviously they're talking about the ships coming and going. And I'm sure if anyone has any maritime experience, they might be able to like clear up some of the jargon, like, for example, LSJ, for example, what the fuck's that? Or it could just be like their internal jargon, rather than just general maritime jargon. But, yeah, they're not. I wouldn't say they're a lighthouse keeper, because they're also keeping an eye on, like, beaches and stuff. Maybe it's for maritime stuff, or maybe just keeping an eye on other boat traffic. So yeah, could be like a harbour master, dock master, somebody basically responsible for keeping an eye on like maritime traffic in and around the island, but focused on obviously on Epstein stuff. All right, next one. How many pages are we dealing with here? Okay, that was the last page. Well, perhaps that was the log for the day. I mean, that basically just covered one day, but it was a book, so you would think there would be more pages to that. I don't know. I guess the only reason I can think of them like just showing the one page is that was the relevance for the day where the search was made or something like that. I don't know. But just one page, I mean, there's got to be more to that. But sadly, I can only deal with what they've released. Anyway, nothing to read here. And nothing to read here. Oh, Jesus, that's a fucking baby. Ugh. Nothing to read there. Okay, baby, no, it wasn't a lewd picture or anything like that. Like it, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking baby. It was just some guy holding the baby up. That was it. Nothing to read there. Okay, what are we dealing with here? Oh, I think we've had this before. Okay. United States District Court for the District of Virgin Islands. And unfortunately, it is pixelated as fuck, really. Yeah. Alright. Let me see if I can increase it slightly. Okay. In the matter of search of, briefly describe the property to be searched or identify the person by name and address. Premises known as Little St. James Island, USVI, and any buildings, structures, or containers thereupon. Case number MAG 2019-0060. Search and seizure warrant. To any authorized law enforcement officer, an application by a federal law enforcement officer or an attorney for the government requests the search of the following person or property located in the blank district of the Virgin Islands. Identify the person or describe the property to be maintained. Premises known and described as Little St. James Island, U.S. Virgin Islands, and any buildings or other structures contained thereon, and any locked or closed containers, items contained therein. Yeah. I find that the affidavits or any recorded testimony establish probable cause to search and seize the person or property described above, and that such search will identify the person or describe the property to be searched. Okay. See attachments A. That's basically crossed out and says RA. Ooh. You are commanded to execute this warrant on or before August 24, 2019, not to exceed 14 days, and is ticked at any time in the day or night because good cause has been established. Unless delayed notice is authorized below, you must give a copy of the warrant and a receipt for the property taken to the person from whom or from whose premises the property was taken, or leave the copy and receipt of the place where the property was taken. The officer executing this warrant, or an officer present during the execution of the warrant, must prepare an inventory as required by law, and promptly return this warrant and inventory to the Honourable Ruth Miller, a United States Magistrate Judge. Okay. Pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 3103A-B, I find that immediate notification may have an adverse result listed in 18 U.S.C. 2705, except for delay of trial, and authorize the officer executing this warrant to delay notice to the person who or whose property will be searched or seized. Check the appropriate box. Nothing was checked there. For 30 days, not to exceed 30. Okay. Date and time issued, August. Jesus, fuck, what does that say? August 11th, 2019. Oh, I think that says 9:10 a.m. And that's the judge's signature, Ruth Miller. So thank you, Judge. That was actually legible. Okay. So we had something, for the record, we had something similar to this in the last stream. That was actually recorded Christmas Day, Jesus. So it's been almost a month I've been ill and I've been off. But the pictures were very, very pixelated. It was really hard to make out what some of it said. But at least here was a little bit better. A lot of the small print I'm going to gloss over, especially if it's not ticked or it's irrelevant to the to everything that's going on. Because basically this is just, it's a template form. So anybody can get that anywhere. So I just want to talk about the details that I've actually filled in, really. And that's the focus. So file number 31E NY 3027571 on date 8/12/2019. Items listed below were seized. So street address, Little St. James Island, City, US Virgin Islands. Description of items, multiple Mac desktops, multiple HP towers, multiple iPads, documents, photos, notes. And that was done at 7:20 p.m. Received, and that's redacted. Presumably to protect the identity of the agent rather than anybody dodgy. Alright. Oh, we got another one. Okay. Case 8/12/19. 31E NY 3027571. Photographer redacted. FBI. Location, Little St. James Island. Area A plus A4, US Virgin Islands. Okay, so we saw this after we got the photos from the mansion. They may be moving to a new location. We may be moving to a new location after this. So, where's it going to be? Oh, maybe the same place. Right, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Ooling, nothing to read there. Now, we did have a few labels in a few of the previous streams. I did some research on that. He likes to label things for various properties that he owns. So Zorro, for example, that was a ranch. So that might be coming up later in these photos. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Ooh, nothing to read there. 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 Nice fucking kitchen, though. Nothing to read there. Two washing machines. Okay, that's a nice TV. Jesus, I'm jealous of this guy. He has a fucking island and he's got a massive TV and nice sofas and everything. I don't know. Well, maybe one day Net Narrator can go into one of those Mr. Beast videos. Like, oh yes, this random creator can win an island if he stays on it for 500 days. And I'll just be like, hey, as long as I can get Wi-Fi and I can record the videos, then I'll do whatever the fuck. Ah, and take my 2 cats with me, or have them looked after. Actually, no, the cats would have to stay with me. We're inseparable at this point. Anyway, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Please excuse my madness while going through pictures containing absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. No, there's nothing on there. That's blank. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Massive room. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Okay. So this is... So I can tell what it is. I don't know exactly what it says, but I do recognize this as the 404 screen on Google Chrome. Or I'm pretty sure it's Google Chrome. Or just on Google. You got the sign for Google Chrome there, but I'm not sure about the rest of these. But yeah. They 404, so obviously somebody turned the fucking internet off. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Oh, it might actually be stuff to read here. Or snap. Yes, indeed, that's what it says. Can't quite make out what it says here. If they focus on what it says here, that'd be great. But sadly, as you can see, I can zoom in on this, but you can't really read it. So I think we've got a few more comments in the chat. I'm just going to finish this current line because we're almost finished with the first 100, and then I'll go ahead and answer some questions. Well, I'm by no means an expert on the matter. I've done a decent bit of research, so hopefully I can answer your questions. Yeah, okay. That says a lot, doesn't it? Then again, Better Call Saul, you can, with sufficient motivation and time, potentially put some of this stuff together. But yeah, that's a lot of shredded paper there. That's yeah, that's a bit disturbing. Anyway, there's a Nikon camera. It's probably better than whatever camera this FBI agent is using. Yeah, more photos. He likes those kind of photos. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Okay, they just ripped the fucking TV off the wall. Nothing to read there. Oh, hang on. No, it's sort of on its bracket, but it does look like it's sort of falling off there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. And nothing to read there. Okay, that's the first 100 done. Only 1,050-ish to go on this round. Anyway, let me just... I'm going to load up the next batch, and then I'm going to look at the chat. So sorry, I don't intend to ignore you guys. Like if you send me something in chat, I will eventually get around to answering it. I'm not I'm not one of these streamers, these seasoned streamers that sort of are able to react instantly. I've got to always be, I've got to do this and then I can focus on that. It's weird. I have a one-track mind sometimes. Right, there we go. Let's load that up and let's have a look. Here's a lot of our statues. Yeah, it seems rather low class and out of date. For an island mention, yep, I mentioned that. Hello, bro. Hey, Flint. Congratulations on joining YouTube and making your own channel. And yeah, I'm talking about the Jesse James robbery. Show us the cats. Hell yeah, cats. Oh yes, you want to see the cats? A live edge table. I don't think they're talking about my table. As for the kitties, they are not here at the moment. I can hear them. They're around, but yeah. Clara, Dexter. No, I can hear them. They're I think they're downstairs and they're basically playing with one of those plastic springs. Like there's a you can Google it if you like. There's a plastic spring cat toy, and they love those. Like they're cheap. I actually got them for free when I bought a bunch of cat bowls when I first got them in the first place. Because it was very sudden when I got them. Because I was sort of like I was interested. And then a charity was like, "Hey, we've got these 6 kittens. We need to find them loving homes, and they can go in pairs." And we were just like, "Yeah, we're interested." And it was like, "Great, can you pick them up? Can we drop them off tomorrow?" That's literally how it went down. So we're basically hauling ass, getting food, getting all sorts of stuff for them. So it was great fun. But obviously, I posted the video up on the channel now, where I first got them. They're in the case. I need to post more actually. The next one's really good, actually, that I need to post up. It's just like the first time I've actually been able to pet Clara. But yeah, you see them and they're in the cage, they're not wanting to play with anything. They're so terrified. But, you know, now they're absolutely different. So, of course, medicine. You're talking about, let me hold it up to the camera. I don't know if it's reversed or not, but it's, yeah. Okay, you should be able to see it. Almost inhale, a nasal stick. Basically, it's to clear my airwaves, because they do get clogged up and blocked, especially post-illness. Trip to Epstein Island when? Yeah, I'll go. I mean, the dude's dead. I mean, they probably got all the evidence they need at this point. It's probably on the market. I'd buy it. If I could afford it. Let's be honest. I haven't even got a car yet. I still need to do that. So, big question. Do you know why they take all these random pictures? Yes. It's just a case of having all the details possible, just getting every single angle of a room. Just in case there's any hidden details that might need to be referred to later. But also so that the FBI can build like a profile and a map of the place with some kind of visual reference. So like they'll have the blueprints of the place, they'll have the map, and they'll have like these pictures, and when they're talking to like witnesses and stuff, and victims, of which there are many, and when they get the testimony, they can say, they can ask, okay, well, where did this happen? Do you remember this? Or, you know, and all of that. And then based on the testimony that was given, they can cross-reference it with these photos, and for example, we'll say, oh yeah, was there a, you know, were you in a laundry? Was there a laundry room? What was that like? It was like, okay, yeah, it had a white wall. It had a window leading to a bunch of greenery outside. And then they can show the photo, say, oh, what does this look familiar? And they could be like, yeah, that was the room. That's basically why. So they can better connect like testimony to actual like location, if you will. It's weird. I mean, some of this stuff, you know, quite right. You know, it may be absolutely irrelevant to the case. But it's better to have as many all the details than, you know, what you think is the relevant details, because it might not be as relevant as you think. I hope that makes sense. But it's just a case of having several points of references, just when they're going back and forth with these people, and obviously to map the place out and for their own reference. Of course, I'm not a police officer at all. Like the closest I will say I did actually apply to join the police a long time ago, but that's, yeah, that ain't gonna happen in my country. And I think people in government are regretting the recruitment standards of the time. Not necessarily that I'm not a cop, because I'd be a terrible one. But no, I did also apply to MI5. Also failed that, but that's basically the extent of my actual like IRL police experience, apart from just watching a bunch of TV shows. So, you know, take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not a law enforcement expert, although I do think we have a few on the channel. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, we got no more questions. 9 viewers. That's fine. This is very impromptu. Let's go for the next 100. Oh, and we definitely got it. I definitely want to get this all done tonight. Nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. And a lot of these are repeats as well, I need to say. Just in case, like, I guess it's better to be thorough. Nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. A lot of the utility rooms and stuff. Nothing to read here. Jesus. That's a gigantic-ass toilet. I don't think there's a door here, so... fuck it, just walk into Dave taking a shit or something. But sadly, nothing to read here. As interesting as that might be. Nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. Ooh, wow, okay. No, I don't think that's a surfboard. I think that's a wakeboard. Magic Ride 142. Unless there's one of those... I mean, you got the thing in the center, unless it's like one of those mini sails, I think. I'm sure somebody can clarify. I know we got Florida people on this channel. I don't think we have anyone from California watching this channel, which is fine by me. No, I'm kidding. I think there are one or two, but you know, from people that are in the know. Is this a wakeboard, as I suspect, or is this something else? It'll be interesting to know. Of course, I could Google it, but where's the fun in that? Anyway, nothing to read there. Nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. Super jealous, though. That looks really nice. Nothing to read here. Okay, nothing to read here. That's... I didn't know if that was a diving cell or not. Nothing to read there. 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 Well, at least the place is clean, or relatively clean. Nothing to read there. I think there's another kitchen, actually. We saw a kitchen before, but this one has a different floor. Nothing to read there. Ooh, those look nice, but sadly, nothing to read there. Give me something to read. I want a document. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. This might be a staff kitchen, actually. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. Or there. God damn it. Or there. Or there. It's just a... Yeah. I do get, like... Why the hell are they taking photos of this? I mean, I know it's a bunch for the details and all that, but I can't imagine any possible details. That's a bottle of Smirnoff, at least. I know that. That's something I can read. I can read the label. Nothing to read there. 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 Fuck! Nothing to read there. Give me something to read. I've got to give the people their money's worth. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Then again, this is a free stream. What am I talking about? Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Well, if nothing else, you can hear my slow descent into insanity. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there, although I was halfway there already. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Come on, like labels, leaflets, anything. I will literally read that at this point. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. Right, that's half of this batch done. We've done 150 photos altogether. 1,000 more to go at this point. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. There's nothing... There's, not only is there nothing to read there, there's literally nothing there. What is just... It's just a lead to a fan and then an iron. There's been a bunch of, like, irons, washing machines, that kind of stuff as well. So, it's like the servant stuff and the staff stuff has just remained. But it does look cleared out, to be honest. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Yeah, the house had a lot more detail. I think the house in New York. But, I mean, even if this is a private island, it's massive. And, you know, obviously, this is apparently the place where a lot of the bad stuff went down. It's cleaned out, it feels like. There's a couple of places where, obviously, there's been a lot more activity. But, you know, random rooms like this... Yeah, no, it's either wasn't in use for a long time, or it's just, you know, there was the opportunity to clear stuff out. Anyway, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, or there, or there, or there, or there. I don't know, maybe there's some hieroglyphics in the fucking tree or something. Nope, there is not. I was expecting documents and stuff. Well, I'm sure we'll get to a lot of documents at some point. But yeah, we got the photos. But believe me, it's not completely pointless going for all of these from a narrative perspective, because we did find some juicy stuff from the first two streams. Letters from co-conspirators, and also like letters from victims and notes from victims, or potential victims, I should say. We don't know if those people were actually victims. But yeah, we will find some gems eventually, I'm sure. I'm hoping we find some kind of gem. Make the stream worth it. Okay. Nope, that's that's literally an airport what the fuck am I trying to say? That's literally just a label people stick on your baggage in the airport or something. But yeah, St. Thomas, AA 943. Well, St. Thomas is the island, I think. SKD 1056, 6th of June. A 14093834 80011400934. Frestesia, Myla, Lacts, Tresteza, Myla, Lacts, AA 94306 STT, barcode 80011400934. There you go. That's how much I want to read stuff. I'm reading barcode labels. Nothing to read there apart from that. Oh, what we got here? Now, is this... Who is this? Is this staff or is this a... I mean, they haven't blurred out the face. They haven't blurred out the face, but I have concerns that this might be a victim. In which case, I don't want to... You know, as I said at the start of the stream, I'm on team victim. So I don't want to potentially dox them or do these people wrong. But this looks like a CV. So it might not be a victim, just someone wanting a job, so that's fine. Let me have a look. I'll need to rotate a little bit. Also, it will only let me rotate right. Okay, there we go. Okay. So these redactions have been, I will say, I'll go and outright say these redactions have been terrible. You can still see some of the details and you might be able to make it out. However, it's blurred out for me, so I'm not going to do it. Also, it might be personal details, so I can't necessarily do that. And from what I can see here, it is probably someone applying to be a member of staff rather than a victim or a conspirator. So qualifications, captain's medical course, I believe this is what it says at the top. Something here, food safety and catering, proficiency in something security attentiveness or something, yacht training certificate. And then these qualifications, I think, is BS or a bachelor degree or something like that in computer science, 1991 or 61. Yeah, computer science and computer college something. Okay, this is very, very difficult to read. Very difficult to read. I have worked on commercial. I mean, I can make out the odd word, but it's pixelated as shit. However, from what I can see, I think this is an application to be a skipper of a boat. I mean, they've got the medical course there. Actually, maybe not. I mean, a lot of qualifications and mix as well. So food safety and catering, medical, and computer science. Yeah, but that is near impossible to read. I mean, I can make up bits like 19 years, that's what it says there. Private, but very, very difficult. Super difficult to see. Experiences, that's what it says there. But yeah, that's that. I've zoomed in so you can check for reference. That is what I have to put up with. So I'm going to have to skip that, I'm afraid. We have been able, bear in mind, we have been able to read plenty of other stuff. But it seems like some of these is like, they're willfully, taking terrible photos of it. Nothing to read, nothing to read. And that's the same label we read before, nothing to read. LSJ and GSJ, boat log 2019. Okay, so that's the log of the boat. And we've seen that before as well. What do we got here? Oh, hello. Okay, so Little St. James. So this is Little St. James Maintenance and Workshop Building Project. Little St. James Maintenance and Workshop Building Project. Okay. Generator and RO Building Roofing Project. So yeah, might be a bit bare because Epstein was looking to expand or build it up a little bit more. But that is also the island in question. Yeah. But apart from that, nothing to read here. Okay, oh Jesus, that's a lot of IDs and shit. Yeah, there's a lot heavily redacted, and these are... There's the signatures. Yeah, hard to make out. These are signatures. However, personal information on IDs and stuff, especially that's heavily redacted, I can't dox anybody on the channel. Cannot dox anybody on the channel. So these are basically visa documents, IDs, that kind of thing. But I can't dox anybody. And as I say, these are probably members of staff. So you can't, these are probably innocents in the matter. All right. Correct passports. Okay. All right, that's clearer. Philip Anthony Baker, New Zealand. Philip Anthony Baker. Okay, just as I said I wasn't going to dox anyone. Okay, Jesus. It's literally right there. So, that's public information. But it is, if it's zoomed out, if it's heavily redacted, I'm, in general, going to stay away from it. But this is the name of one of the guys. We could cross-reference it with the last stream, which had the names of staff. Sorry, I'm a bit foggy at the moment. Yeah, same as there. It's Myla, someone. That's a marriage. Okay, that's a marriage certificate. And these are signatures and stuff from a marriage certificate. I'm not going to read all that. That's somebody's private information. Chelsea Drug Rodriguez. The jokes write themselves. All right, let's move on. Nothing to read there. That we just read that. We just read that, and it's heavily redacted as well. Yeah, we've seen this shredded before. Yeah, a lot of shredded documents there, but I want to see actual documents. Okay, LSJ and GSJ boat log 2019. Okay, what is this? I'm going to try to go for this first because this looks easier to see. Permits, paperwork, Mr. Duffiet, name of container. Contractor or contractor. I don't know. I don't see the C there. Generators, 114 kilowatts, 2500. Permits for roads. Cottage, Sepal, water. I think that says. Something. Damaged in hurricane. Repand rebuilt after something. It's cut. The picture's cut off. Vehicle permits, generator permits. So yeah, this looks like just like annotations or notes or personal notes of the dockmaster. Now what does this say? That's hard to read. Okay, this is a list of staff. Now, is this a list of staff on the boat? Are we on a boat at the moment? I'm not sure. I mean, it says boat log, but I'm not sure if this is like the harbour master's office or if this is like an office on a yacht. I guess we'll find out. But that's Kerr. I can sort of see the names. I can see the departments like workshop, carpenter, plumber, irrigation. Is that irrigation? Maybe. Landscaper, painter, carpentry, housekeeper. And a lot of these repeat. Some of these are hard to see. Like this bright light here. That makes it hard. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Nothing to read there apart from that. Nothing to read there. 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 These are repeats as well. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Yeah, these are absolute repeats. So let's just go through these. Nope. Oh. Nope. 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 Okay, he's been reading himself in the fucking papers. Oh no, then again. Yeah, they've already got him. So this is after they arrested Epstein. Epstein kept locked stash of underage pics in UES house. His safe of evil. Okay. And this is a paper received in one of his bloody houses. Okay, so my question is, who put the paper there? Who's been reading it? Who's been around the house? Like, is it Maxwell? Or is it somebody else? Is it members of staff just left hanging or something like that. Maybe. Although presumably the fact that they have a card here might tell us. Hello, Clara. She's a good girl. Let me finish with these pictures first, and I'm going to try and pick you up. Okay, here's Safe of Evil. Nothing to read there. Oh, she's licking my feet. Okay. Job, schedule info, HP Office Jet Pro 8720, serial number CN68FD6OC1, IP address 192.168.119.6, EC8EB5D1 8F2B, direct to B HP Office Jet Pro 8720. You see, something like that, absolutely clear and I can read it. But as for the docs, as for the logs and all of that kind of stuff, it's very pixelated. So I wonder what happens if I zoom in, like this is 1200 zoom in, I can still sort of read this. But the other stuff, the juicier stuff, is a bit more difficult. It's really annoying. Nothing to read there. Oh, Clara, I see your tail. You're at the door. Anyway, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, and it's a repeat and nothing to read there. These are all repeats. Okay, Berserker Berries, well, you read real good. Big fan of your HY narration. Thank you. I'm not reading so good on this because it's all illegible, really. I zoom in and it's pixelated. You might be able to see a bit better from the stream. But your picture is like smaller than mine. I have to zoom in like really hard to try and read some stuff. It's heavily pixelated. It'll be interesting to see if it's just me or if it's somebody else. I suspect it's in general. But I had to get this PDF reader to make sure I could open all the documents. Unfortunately, the format the DOJ released these in is not great for reading. Like, I would rather just have one big PDF of the thing and I could just, like, scroll down. That'd be so much easier. But these are all, like, individual PDFs rather than just one PDF of the entire thing. Very inconvenient, but, you know, I can only do what I can do. I can hear you purring, Clara. I'm going to see if I can get her in. Alright, let's let that load up. Hey, you're narrating the hell out of these photos. There's barely anything to narrate in there. Anyway, let's see if I can get a cat. Hello, Clara. There's my good little girl. Except for when you're not being good, because you're a little gremlin. Hello. Can I pick you up? I think I can. Hello. Up we go. There's a good girl. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're alright, you're alright. Okay. I don't know if you saw her. She really did not want to be picked up. She's not always been like that. She's a little jumpy. But she's right back there, so we'll see. Will you let me pick you up? Yeah, she's very affectionate. She's rubbing against me, but I don't think she'll let me put her on my lap. I can try. No? You don't want to be picked up. And I can hear Dexter screaming in the background as well. No, not screaming, sorry, squeaking. You're a good girl. There's a good girl. Are you sure you won't let me pick you up and put you on my lap? Thing is, I'm not sure if it's picked up on the mic or not. And I think some of the videos, they're purring quite loudly. Hello, Bo. Oh, Dexter, you want to join us as well? Do you want to come say hi to everybody? I'm going to try. Will you let me pick you up? No. They're a little bit reluctant for me to pick them up. I mean, Clara is sat on a cushion right there, but you won't be able to see her on the face cam. Dexter, he likes to hang around sometimes just outside the door, but you know, there's spots of them here. Basically, I explained earlier, I had to get these two neutered recently, and it was only yesterday, in fact, where they were given the all clear by the vet, and so they got their collars off and everything. Now, Clara has a massive bald patch on her side, where they obviously had to, you know, shave it off to do the surgery. That's still there. It feels really weird. As for Dexter, you know, he's been fine. Like, for males, it's a very easy, quick, painless procedure. Females, they need to do a little bit more, but both of them are absolutely fine. Hello, why are you playing with my socks? Let me pick those up. Yeah. Yeah, I got gifted socks for Christmas. They're in a bag. I haven't put them anywhere yet because I got plenty. But the cats like playing with them. You good boy. Alright. We'll see if we can get them up during the stream. I think if I do, I'll probably clip it and show you that. But even if not, I need to post one of the videos I took of them in the early days. And yeah, get your cat fix. Anyway, nothing to read there. Although there's some there's some filing cabinets there you can look at. Nothing to read there either. Nothing to read there. Okay. Oh fucking hell! What is this? There is writing there. It is bright as fuck. Date 8th 12th. Oh Jesus. 2019. SIENY 3027571. Photographer redacted. FBI. Location Zone B. So I mean, maybe this is another location on the island, and they're splitting it up into zones because it's a large location. I mean, it seems like a large location. Let me have a look. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, I probably I should have just skipped to this one. Well, I was mostly right. That's what that says. Okay. Likely still in the same island because we've got palm trees there. Yeah, this looks like half built thingy. Oh, so this is the outside. It looks alright, but it's they barely got started really. Nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Well, are you still there? No, you're not. You've both gone. Right, nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Ooh. Well, an SCP's in there. There's red eyes and everything. Nothing to read there. Nothing. Oh, it's a garage. Nothing to read there. Okay. So presumably the island is big enough that you need these little... They're not tuk-tuks. Well, I don't know what you would call them. Like mini jeeps? Something like that. I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing you'd have in rural USA with farmlands and stuff. Like just to drive around like a private property kind of thing. I don't know. I'm sure like people can fill me in on that. And there's another one, but nothing to read. There could be a manifest or something coming up. Nothing to read. 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 Oh, hang on. No, there's nothing to read. I can't read that. Let's label. Nothing to read. Private property. No trespassing. Oh, these are... What are these? I mean, I want to say they're probably more quad bikes than jet skis, but yeah, they're more likely quad bikes. Yeah, they're quad bikes. Nothing to read. 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 Oh, that's a jet ski. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Exit. Nothing to read. VI 5452TC. C. Whatever that says. There's a Honda generator. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Give me something. Another boiler room. Jesus. Why? Just show me the documents. Nothing to read. 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 Fire extinguisher A. Nothing to read. 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 Exit. Nothing to read. What does this say? Okay. So, and these are all identical. 4-foot LED high output wrap light. Made in China, obviously. So wrap light, is that I know you can get these and they come in a like a coil, and you can sort of uncoil them and stick them up, and that's like LED lights. Or this is like an overhead massive lamp thing. I mean, I guess it could be the overhead lamp thing for a garage or something. Especially if it's a built-in progress, I should say. Ooh. Right, that says exit. Exit again, but nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. What are we on now? Oh, Jesus, we're almost done with this lot as well. Nothing to read. Rigid. I don't know what's in there. B. There we go. Something to read, even if it's a fucking letter. Oh dear. Focus Industries. Well, speaking of Focus Industries, I should probably try to swear less on my stream. Like, I don't know. I'm not like all the cool YouTubers saying unalive and stupid stuff like that. Unalive, grape, PDF file. You know, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And I am my parents will tell you that I am a heavy swearer. I do that a lot. It's just, you know, it's just the way I grew up, the way I'm used to it. Focus Industries. Plus, to be honest, if there was anybody offended, they would have gone by now, so that's fine. Focus Industries again. That is a weird-ass chandelier, though. He does have a few other weird chandeliers, but that is like a chandelier. That's like a leaf. Why isn't a workshop? I don't know. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing. What the fuck is this better be? It's like... does he have to deliberately hide behind the chair and take it? Oh yeah, perfect. Let's get half the fucking chair in the way. Photo. Jesus, where the hell do they get these guys? All right, that's better. You got the chair out of the way. There we go. Okay, that's some kind of Wi-Fi box. I think maybe. I don't know. I'm not a technical person whatsoever. Okay, chair. Couple of bird cages, though, but no birds. No warehouse area. Nothing to read, though. Nothing to read. Yeah, that's a better shot of the chandelier. Yeah. I mean, it's completely irrelevant to what we're actually meant to be doing here, but... you know, it's a point of interest that I'll note. Bubble cushion. There we go, that's what that says. And that's a nice photo. A nice picture. I wouldn't have it in that frame, though. Nope, nothing there. Hunter. Oakhurst ceiling fan. That's what that is, and there's a few of them. Oh, some life jackets there. So presumably this is like a general warehouse for stuff needed around the house or for activities and stuff. USA flags. Okay. Multiple USA flags. Well, there's none there. I don't know. Is this a common thing? How do you keep your pile of US flags ready just in case? I don't know. I feel patriotic for America just by thinking about it, and I'm not even American. Okay. More nothing to read here. I mean, these look like things you find in a butcher's shop, but I think they're lamps or something. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Power attic vent. So yeah, these are... Okay, different types of ceiling fans. Lights and vents and stuff. So it's all... You know, it's all just random stuff for the house. Either stuff that needs to be installed or just spares as you need them. And that's a rigid something. Don't know what that is. Maybe that's a fan or something, or a leaf blower. I don't know. My yuppie ass does not know what any of this manual stuff is. No, I lie. I do it. It does a bit, but, you know, some things can look similar to others. Anyway, nothing there. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Focus Industries. Nothing to read. 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 God damn it, give me something to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Home Depot ass house? Quite possibly. I mean, bear in mind this is an island, so I'm guessing in case of emergency, they need to have, like, reserves or supplies of stuff. Plus, you can't exactly call a handyman when you're on a private island, so I guess that's part of the rationale. Just have spares for repairs. I don't know. Sadly, I cannot put myself into the mind of a a person rich enough to sort of have their own private island. I mean, I don't know, but I'd have to call Mr. Beast for that kind of stuff. Nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. It's all the same, really. Nothing to read there, nothing to read there. That was a picture of the Mona Lisa, though. I spotted over the door. Obviously a copy. But yeah, that's another 100 done. Ooh. All right. So that's 2,300 to 2,400 we need to do. Next. Nope, there we go. Sorry, you're probably not. I'm probably just going to see like the mouse like randomly moving around. I'm just selecting a bunch of these. And if you hear a hissing in the background, that is my water bottle. Don't know why it does that. Whew. And there is no kitty around, I'm afraid, to try and pick up. They are around though. I can hear them playing, but you know, I don't want to force them to do anything they really don't want to do. I mean, I've picked them up before. I've had them on my lap. I've had them, you know, cuddled up while I'm recording before, which possibly wasn't the best idea. But you know, we'll see if they come along. I mean, they've been all right. Like normally when I go to sleep, they're there in my arms in the morning. So it is there. It's just, I guess when they're sort of playing, they're less receptive to it. But when they're more tired and relaxed, they let me do it. And at the moment, I can sort of hear them playing in the background. So it might be that mentality there. But they have been fed. You know, they are comfortable. They're not in pain, even though Dexter likes to meow a lot. I think that squeak is just his early meow because he's still. Oh god, how old are they now? I've had them almost 3 months at this point, give or take. Has it been 3 months? I've had them 2.5 months. I'll go to say, and they were 9 weeks old, approximately. They think when we got them, so they're 4 months old, maybe. Yeah, 4 months old. They're still very young cats. At the very least, I'm glad they've been neutered, and I'm glad I won't have to worry about unexpected kittens. But yeah, they're still quite young. They're still playing, and I still play with them when I can. But obviously, you know, I've also got to work, and I've also got to somebody needs to pay for their cat food somehow. But no, they're great. If I can get them up, I will. But it's probably going to be Clara tonight, if at all. But no, if not, I've got plenty of photos and plenty of videos to sort of put up with them. Sorry, and I'm very tired myself, so I should really get on with it. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. That's what I mean. The Mona Lisa, random Mona Lisa above the door in a fucking warehouse. You know. But yeah, that's weird. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there or there. Or there. I think the only documents we've seen have been just boring ones. Either we've covered it in the last stream, or it's just been pixelated to shit. I think that's all. CO. Some kind of cement, I think. Sodium hypochlorite. Okay, that's something to read. Why you have 4 barrels of that, I don't know. Maybe it's used in building or something. Either that or you're doing Breaking Bad. Well, I think there's a hydrochloric acid, I think. Yeah. Where they basically like dispose of bodies by just having that kind of barrel, stick a fuck ton of acid in it, and then they dunk the body in it. And yeah, and just make sure you don't do it in a bathtub. Right. Next one. Nothing to read there, nothing to read there. 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 I mean, it does look pretty nice though for something I'm never going to use. Nothing to read there. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Really extensive plumbing system. Nothing to read there. It's like you know, enough to sort out a colony, really. But nothing to read there either. Or there. Or there. Or there. What the fuck? Is this like a harbor warehouse or something like that? And that's the sea underneath? So this could be like a dock warehouse or something like that. Yeah. Could be water purification. What's this string and stuff, though? I mean, it's still possible water purification. Metal rungs going down into the thing. I mean, it's entirely possible. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a bit more detail on that. No, can't unfortunately make out what's on there. Nothing to read there. Now, what's this calendar say? Well, that's turned to July. There's a big note in here, CX or something, or GX. Big letters, but pixelated to fuck. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. Or, oh, what have we got there? Cat Pumps Corporation. I don't think I'll need it for them. Cat pumps. That looks like... oh, yeah, that's like a mobile cleaning thing. So, yeah, nothing there. U-line. Universal pads. Pads of what? I don't know. Oil-only pads. Universal pads. Well, total wax car wash. I assume that's to do with, you know, vehicle maintenance. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. Or there, goddammit. Or there. Or there. Or... Can I read it? That's the same thing. COX? Cox is a surname. This says report 052819, I want to say. Looks more like a 10, but given the context, I think that's 19. Next. So that's next something. B10R report, maybe? Difficult to make out. But yeah, even if it was possible to make out, this is less likely to have any impact on the actual case. What have we got here? Vacation leave form. Okay. So this is, yeah, definitely some big staff area, I think. RO Daily. In the context of warehouse and shipping, what could RO mean? Rota, maybe? Or recruitment something? I don't know. Something like a log for the warehouse, I want to say. Right, nothing to read there, or there, or there. Okay, right. Excellent, we can see it. CDX, password, ESP, next OMR report 052819. That's July 2019. And it looks like these are all like shifts, so 85, 74, 74, 85, 85. 44, 40, 40, 32. I suspect these are the total hours worked during the week. So it's like a staff log or staff rota or something. Ooh. F. Well, there's nothing in there. Or there. Or there. Or there. Or there. It does look nice, but sadly nothing to read. Nothing read or nothing read. Oh, I keep hearing the rustling of a bag downstairs, but I realise I have got them a toy. It basically has like that plastic bag liner, but it's like a tunnel they can run through, and they love doing that. Nothing to read. Well, nothing to read, but it looks like the start of an SCP. Okay, now it looks better. Okay, that's good. Well done, photographer. You turn the lights on. No smoking. Fireguard, Highland Tank, MFG Co. 10K, and all of this I read before. Okay. Yeah, obviously some kind of maintenance room. I have to read exit. This is the label I read before. A. Alright. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Oh, diesel fuel. Okay. So this is a generator room or something, or just a fuel storage room. I mean, boats need to be fueled. That's possibly where they kept the fuel for the boats. Nothing to read there, or there, or there. It's all the same room. Why are you taking so many angle shots of the same room? Like, I get you need the attention to detail, but there's nothing else there. Just take a few. You don't need to take this many. On the plus side, it does mean my job for the day is that much closer to completion. There. Yeah, because I've already set the limit today of I just want to clear data set 1. I don't want to try and go for a new one just yet. Because I'll probably rather take the opportunity to go to bed early, sleep off the rest of the illness, and cuddle with my cats. Oh, just noticed. Happy Amoeba asks, did they actually leave anything to read this time, or is it all blacked out lines? Now, there is some redacted data. However, working around that, you can sort of see it protects a lot of identities. But there is some juicy stuff here as well. Now, I've been ill for the last 2 or 3 weeks, unfortunately, so I haven't been able to cover as much as I wanted at this point. But I'm just essentially finishing dataset 1. There is some juicy stuff here, and, well, not yet for this stream, but there was for the previous couple. But if there's anything juicy, I will basically clip it and make it a short. It's just people get to see it live. But the purpose of the live video is to make sure I'm not skipping anything. But yeah, there has been redactions. It hasn't been full redactions of documents, but yeah. I mean, I do know there is a way to like unredact it, and when we get to that stage, I will endeavor to do so. Because I've already downloaded the PDFs. The US government can't change it. I've got the originals. But yeah, but I might, but then again, there's the possibility I get in trouble for it, but that is something I'm willing to go for, because, as I say, I'm on the side of the victims, and if people want to try and arrest me for that, then that will kick up a fuss. Plus, let's be honest, I live in the UK. I'm probably going to get arrested for something at some point, considering how wild our country is right now. But anyway, let's not talk about the country. That was a tangent I should have gone on. But yeah, there is some redactions, but for the most part, from what I've seen, it is to protect victim identity, and so nobody gets doxxed. That I can understand. I've not yet found anything deliberately to hide like anything compromising. I mean, I hear in the early stage there was like a redaction or something to just put a black box over the president's face, and we actually covered that in the first stream. And it was essentially what was like a shrine of Epstein meeting famous and influential people. The Pope was in there. President Trump was in there. Not president at the time, obviously. And a bunch of other people, but yeah. I mean, the way I see it, it was a shrine. It doesn't necessarily implicate anybody. It shows association. But, for example, I don't think... was it Pope Francis or Pope John Paul? Can't remember. Or Benedict, maybe. What was his name? But yeah, it doesn't necessarily implicate anybody. But, but I think that was a redaction that people wanted... That the DOJ wanted to do, but they actually didn't at the time. But yeah, they haven't been the most diligent with redactions. I mean, a lot of this, like, there's a lot of documents to go through already, and they haven't released them all. I think that's partly why they're dragging their feet doing it. But yeah, but from what I've seen, it is mainly victim information, and obviously the victims have to be protected at all costs. I've seen nothing yet that demonstrates too much protecting friends, but during the first stream we found letters from conspirators that shows that basically letters to Jeffrey Epstein showing sympathy, and it does give a great insight into how these elites or at least, not elites in general, but the elites in Jeffrey Epstein's circle, how they thought about the whole situation. I think that was very, very eye-opening, but I would have definitely liked the real details of the person posting that. Obviously, the FBI knows, but no, the person initially showing sympathy, I want to know who that was. But yeah. But when we get to the part where like entire pages are covered in black boxes, we'll do our best to unredact them. And I won't let that slide easily. I'll have a look. I'll see how many characters in the word might have, for example. I'll see what we have to work with. I'll do my due diligence. I'll do whatever I can. I'm still determined to do that. However, my goal is to essentially go through the lot. So rather than cherry picking stuff, we're still on dataset 1. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on with this lot, and then I'll go back to the chat and answer some more questions, because we've got to. I mean, after this lot, we've got another 750 to go. Yeah, great fun. Nothing to read there. Anyway, this is the same room, by the way. Nothing to read there. It's all sort of immaculate close-ups of a room with nothing but a tanker. Nothing to read there. There's a tiny label there, but I'm not reading that. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Random letter. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. Or there. Or there. Or there. It's the same fucking tank, FBI agent. What are you doing? Right, C. Unless this is another tank? Okay, we moved away from the tank. Okay, that's a random shipping container full of tat. Same container. Can we go in the container? Yes, we can. Okay, these look like building materials. Possibly oil or something. Yeah, I think these look like tiles. Nothing to read there or there. Dingy ass box. Okay, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the fucking box? No smoking. Nothing in there. Nothing to read there. Dang, that's dark as fuck. Turn on the lights. Exit. And there's nothing to see there, let alone nothing to read. Alright, that's that lot done. I'll go back to chat in a second once I've loaded up the next 100 PDFs. Sorry, didn't mean to be rude, like, just moving on, but there were a few, like, rapid-fire questions and points being made there. I do want to try and answer as many as I can. Indeed, I'll answer all of them, but also gotta stay on mission. There we go. Okay. Then they failed to redact at least one victim. No, we covered that. I don't think it was a victim. I think it was Trump himself. From what I can see, because I remember a lot of... I mean, it's mainly liberal, a few liberal commentators pointing out that he features in there, or he is in the files, or whatever. I'm thinking, yes, he is in the files, he has met Jeffrey Epstein, he's not necessarily implicated in them, because we had Stephen Hawking feature, technically, David Copperfield featuring there. Sure, like, Jeffrey Epstein knew a lot of elites, that was his thing, but we don't know who specifically was involved in the mess. So that's the line I want to draw. I don't necessarily, it's fun, blaming the elites and saying, oh, they're all responsible, realistically, and they're not. And I don't want to like catch a libel charge. I want to sort of keep everything grounded and just get the facts, rather than try and push any kind of agenda or political opinion or anything like that. Not necessarily to say that he was or he wasn't, just from that information, which was the shrine of photos, doesn't necessarily mean they're implicated in the mess. I mean, by association possibly, but not actually committing the horrible acts, having the victim, targeting the victims, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's what was in the release files and not redacted. Yep, that's fine. Oh yeah, and Trump was in the original lot that I did like 2 years ago. But it was more, it was mentioned the fact that they went to one of his casinos and hotels rather than meeting him himself. And that's where he appears in that. Oh yeah, no worries. I did not perceive it as ritual. Damn, hearing Net's live voice is way different from the usual voice he uses in the videos. Is that because those are older? It's sometimes it's because I'm putting on a voice. But also, I'm sort of, with the videos, I'm very much in a presentation mode. So, for example, oh god, what voice could I do? Date point. Oh no, or something like Nash Alter, Adventure Level 11. You know, I can do that. I can put that voice on at any time, but it's just I need to focus. I need to focus when I do it. And it's just stream is this is a little bit more casual. I think I'm gonna make plenty of errors, plenty of mess ups. I think there's a better format for me because the original Epstein stuff that I did 2 years ago, it required a lot of editing, a lot of time to sort of knuckle down, and I think, yeah, there was a very draining experience. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you remember, I have recorded a few videos recently, although less often and less so because I've been ill. But no, my voice remains the same. I guess it's just the voice I happen to be putting on, or the way I'm presenting it, really. Like, if it's a super serious a sci-fi one-shot, for example, I will, for example, put on this voice for, like, when I'm demonstrating a ship flying through space. The engine's broken. That kind of thing as well. But no, this is my real voice. I mean, it's all my real voice, really. It just changes depending on the context I'm in. But it's just here, you know. It's late at night. I'm streaming. I'm talking to people. You know, I'm not logged the fuck in like this. You know, or yeah, I'm not Nash the Orc either, because I had to do that this morning. I think I can only really do those orc voices in the morning where I've just woken up and my throat's still buggered. But yeah, anyway. Moving on. Oh, you can make your own conclusions on my voice, but yeah, sometimes I don't even notice I'm changing it. Anyway, I think this is the same photo. There's nothing to see here, nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing exit, nothing to read. It's the same warehouse / garage area. There's nothing really. Hang on. Notice waste oil. There's plenty there, I'm sure. So presumably that's for, you know, the boats and stuff. Nothing to read. What does that say? Tough guard. Nothing to read now. Nothing to read there. And no cats either. Very disappointed. I tell you what, though, if I do this and go to the toilet, I guarantee one of the cats is going to jump up. You'll probably see him on the webcam. Nothing to read. D. Nothing to read. Oh, Jesus, that looks horrible. Nothing to read. Sort out your bloody cables, man. What the hell are you doing? What the hell is this? Like, use zip ties. Use rubber bands. Use anything. Just sort this out. This looks horrible. Alright, this does say stuff here. NDC firewall router. NOC switch in. Or 24. NOC form 16, I think that says. I think those are numbers. Okay, that's gloomy as fuck. And you don't even have a flash. There we go. Okay, you might have turned the lights on there. But still, horrible, horrible, horrible cable management. Okay, nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Jesus! This is an even worse crime of Epstein's. Okay, that was a joke. But the cable management is awful. Oh God! And they're just hanging there, and oh, I don't like that cable management at all. Oh, that looks so bad. This is like cable gore here. And this is meant to be like a monitor you're meant to access, and you've got all this shit dangling. And just imagine that getting snagged in your trousers or something. That would just rip the whole thing apart. Nothing to read there either. A transmont. Or tramont. Nothing to read that. Yeah, it's a fucking boring maintenance room. Like, give me a manifest or something to read. Give me something juicy. This might be the first stream where we've had nothing juicy at all. And even then, the first 2 streams where we did have juicy things, a lot of it was just skipping through stuff like this. But I've got to be thorough. I've got to make sure I see stuff, because when we did see the juicy stuff, nobody had pointed it out before. I hadn't seen it covered on any of the other channels. So, you know, it's important to go through it, like, bit by bit, as I'm doing here. If you want to just look at the highlights, other creators are thankfully doing that as well. And, you know, I'm not necessarily competing with them. Like, we're all in the way I see it, we're all on the same team here, just exposing this horrible stuff that's been going on. But yeah, my autistic ass is just going from the beginning, just reading random labels and stuff, rather than skipping ahead. But don't worry, we'll get to all of that eventually. Nothing to read here, nothing to read here. Jesus, this is like a Cold War bunker. Nothing to read here, nothing to read here. Or here. Right. Danger. Hazardous voltage, or, yeah, will cause severe injury or death. Alright. Nothing to read here. Yeah, it definitely still looks like a Cold War bunker. Nothing to read here, or here, or here. G. Or here. Exit. There we go. Random words. Give me random words at least. I will take that. So I can read that. Right. Nothing to read here. What's in the box? Yeah, it looks like a... I don't know. Do we get it? Yes, we get to see what's in the box. We get to see what's in the box. Okay. So these aren't wires. This is tubing. So possibly for cable protection, if they're like digging underground and leaving cables there. Nothing there. Nothing to read there. Or there. Okay, this is different angles of what's in the box. So I'm happy now. We have established what is in the box. Okay, nothing else. A blue book. Something something environment. Alright. What is this? Did you ever do voice or acting lessons? No! None of that at all. The cables are as twisted as their minds were. That hurts my soul, yeah. Yeah, I still hate the cable measurement. But no, no drama lessons at all. I'm not a theatre kid or anything like that. My education is in business management and finance and fintech and stuff like that. That's my background. I did try to go into some more exciting stuff like MI5. Didn't work, but I was able to do this, and I've learned to run a few businesses on the side as well. So yeah, this is always more of a passion project for me, rather than anything like I've formally trained for or anything like that. But people always said I had a good voice. I think when I had English language literature classes and I had to do some kind of presentation, as well as bricking myself, obviously, because I never did homework back in the day and I was always getting in trouble for it. And I was never prepared. I never prepared for anything seriously at school. You know, the one thing I was good at was actually just presenting it, despite my nervousness. But yeah, that was always something I was just naturally good at. But no formal training, nothing like that. It's just something I do for fun. I did for fun. I still do it for fun, really. Especially coming up with like all the different voices, and occasionally like the situation will demand I try and come up with a new voice. So, for example, Australian voices still find very hard to do. American voices, actually, I still find very hard to do because I tend to overdo it because I can't get the casual American accent down the way most of you guys talk. But it's like, I'm more like a Southern Comfort kind of American, which, you know, obviously a small part of the country actually speaks, but most part, you know, you can sort of understand. New York I can't do at all. There's been a couple of dummy runs or false starts, but yeah. Some I can't do, but I don't have any like formal training or anything. I mean, I could probably look into it, but no. Anyway, nothing to read here or here. It's an HP laptop. There's been a bunch of HP laptops and stuff seized by the FBI. I do know that. Okay, we're looking all around the laptop. There you go. It's a laptop. It's another laptop. God damn it. Okay. They really wanted to take pictures of that laptop, but not what was on the laptop, if that makes sense. Okay. Toshiba. Toshiba again. Okay, Toshiba, satellite, L635, S3040, system unit, part number, PSKWW02Q02X, E55.0, serial number, 3A29370, no, I think this is 0, DC19V, 3.42A. Toshiba Corporation. Yeah, fuck that. I'm out. Alright, nothing to read there either. Nothing to read. Okay, there's a welcome mat. We got a... Oh no, that's not a welcome mat. That's a metal grate. Or, like, metal, like, entrance or hatch. Nothing to read there, or there, or there. Why are we taking so many photos of this? You're taking so many detailed photos. Hello, Clara. Taking so many detailed photos of this room. Like, you can even zoom in, and it's not even that pixelated. What are you doing, cat? No, leave it be. You're a good girl. Sorry about that. But you can zoom in here. It's even somewhat clear, but the documents themselves. That's loud, cat. You're not gonna be okay. You can zoom in this and you can see it perfectly fine, but the documents itself, that's a bit more difficult. Maybe it's willful, or maybe it's just, you know, bad luck. But still annoying. Anyway, let me just rescue my socks. Oh, hello, Dexter. You're here too. There you go. You can go by the play button. Clara, you gonna let me pet you? You're gonna let me pet you, but I don't know about picking you up. You're a good girl. Yeah. After this, I might go to the toilet, and you might actually see them jump up. So hopefully that'll work. Anyway, nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Jesus. Epstein and someone else. Possible victim. Nothing to read, though. Ugh. That's a small figure. It's still a small figure. I don't think he has children. Does he have children? Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go into details on that. But you see what I mean about bars being redacted. This is... The stuff I've encountered so far has been victim protection, and we've absolutely got to respect that. That's the White House. So, yeah, he's been there. Although, I don't know... Was he there with... Oh, this is 2019. Was Trump in charge then? I think he was. Nothing to read there. Or was it Biden? No, it would have been Trump. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Ah, Clara's gone behind my PC again. God damn it. Well, at least you're not turning it off this time. Right, nothing to read there. Nor there. Okay, yeah. Now, obviously, for obvious reasons, because these are possible likely victims, I'm gonna move past these. I'm not even gonna try to unredact them. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Where is this though? I mean, it's possibly the same area. Although this kind of domed nipple building. I mean, I want to say Middle East and Mediterranean. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's the right environment for it. Or, of course, it could just be close to the island. Don't know. Same photo. Same photo. Jesus. Yeah. Victor. They're copies of the photos. I'm skipping that. That looks like a stewardess. But, yeah. Nothing to read. But got to protect the victims. Right, let me load the next lot. I'm going to see if I can pick up a cat. But yeah. I'll see if I can pick up a cat, but I might go to the bathroom just quickly. In which case, like, when I'm gone, guaranteed they're going to jump up, I think. Right, there we are. I can hear them purring. Hello, Clara. You're a good girl. All right. I don't have anything to say. We're on a break or whatnot. Like I don't have like a title card or anything. That did not look like it was just victims whose faces were redacted. I mean, there was someone who I thought was a stewardess, but you know, like hiding like people's identities. I mean, I don't know. We could put it under the microscope if we're getting more. It doesn't look like we're going to get more. Let me just go back to there. See, I mean, well, we don't have any victims there. Although, I think that's the photographer. So yeah, nothing there. Yeah, the photographer's out of it now. But these people, all older people. But yeah, I saw for a majority of that, like women, you know, possibly youngish women, could be members of staff, or could be something else. But I'd rather err on the side of caution for that. And besides, like I'm just here to read stuff. I'm not gonna try and pry into people's like personal identity and stuff. But yeah, I'll try and keep a closer look in future when we get there. But yeah, I did see a lot of young women, and I just thought, yeah, can't really do that. Anyway, I'm just gonna pop over to the bathroom real quick. I'm just gonna find a better photo to a better landing photo to go on. Jesus, I mean, that looks like a young girl or youngish girl. You can't obviously tell from the photo, but you know, there we go. Right. I'll leave you on that photo. Cats are probably going to jump up. If they do, then I'm sure they can say hello, and I'm sure you can let me know on stream so I can watch it later. I'll try and be quick. I'll be like a minute or two. Be right back. Hello, Clara. So, hello, Clara. Hello, Dexter. Oh, you only made it up to the chair. All right, so I'm back. So I'm not sure if you heard me just say, but no, Clara was still in her spot, which is the cushion just there, just under the picture of the dragon. Dexter was on the chair. He didn't actually jump up onto the desk. Let's just having a look at the chat. Why not all these area photos taken on portrait and not... not landscape. Some of them are taken on landscape. But I agree. Just the general way they've done it is not optimal. And these photos aren't high def. And they really should be. Hey, I have a question, comment unrelated to this, but about a prior video you made. Sure, I'll ask away. I bear in mind I go through I record a lot of videos, so I might not be able to necessarily remember off the top of my head. But if I can't answer here, just stick it in the Discord, and somebody will know. Oh, there you go, Flint. You're actually being a mod in the chat. That's good to see. Good. We have some semblance of order here. Just checking everything else. But yeah, but no, the earlier photos, they did mainly look like victims to me. You might not necessarily see it from like your point of view, but if I sort of zoom in, if I see like the general fashion, clothes, that kind of stuff, I will just assume it's a victim. Especially because a lot of the photos featured women rather than men. Even though obviously Ghislaine Max was a woman and she was heavily involved. But she's not redacted in any of these. Right, nothing to see here. I'll have a look at the question when it's posted up. I'll just blitz through these for now. But nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. Nothing to read here. God, okay. ILO default network settings, serial number MXQ32200187, username administrator, DNS name IOOMXQ32200187, password SGSBRD6N. There we go, that was something to read. Not going to read that though. Just labels. Okay, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so up, down, up, down, up, down. Or I'll do that. And it says empty 6 and 8. Are these all SSDs, I think? Possibly. Oh no, enterprise storage. So external hard drives, maybe? Yeah, obviously the FBI needs to look at that. Yeah. I think with the streams you get a sort of sense of how things operate behind the scenes, because I do fluff up my words a lot. Like, not everybody knows this, but I do have a little bit of an impediment that sometimes makes me stutter, or it makes me like slow my words and stuff. It's hard to deal with. I mean, it comes and goes, but you know, it's something I can manage easily enough. But yeah, these are just photos of the drives or devices, not necessarily what's on them. This isn't necessarily useful. Okay. Again. Oh, Jesus, this wire gore really triggers me. It really triggers me. It's so bad. Anyway, unless, of course, that was what the FBI were doing when they were taking these drives out or something. Anyway, nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Okay. ILO to default settings network server serial number MXQ824A1RJ. Username administrator. DNS name IOOMXQ824AIRJ. 1RJ, I should say. God damn it. Password 5U5CNHGG. Yeah, I don't know why they're holding that up to the camera, but I guess it's just so their technicians can access the drives. Yeah, more wire gore. More wire gore. I'm all for saying. Very dusty as well. So it makes you wonder, like, what would this room have been used for? Like, we just gone from internal maintenance to, you know, places with a bunch of wires and stuff. I guess it's, I don't know, just the internal Wi-Fi system maybe. That's just been left there, essentially. I don't know. But yeah, more wire gore there, more wire gore there. And what's actually on here? Enter name and password. Okay. So, but that's his, that's a very old-fashioned setup. Or it looks it. So it could be like a closed shell system. Even though they've got all these wires connecting God knows where. Possibly a closed shell system. I mean, if they're on a private island, would they have had access to Starlink and Wi-Fi and stuff? Maybe not. NDC firewall router, NDC switch 24, NDC FOSW16. I mean, it could be that this connects to an area or something. I don't know. I'm not a technical person, so presumably somebody more technically minded would know what this thing is for and why they're so interested in it. Okay, that's... What the hell is this? 3 of the 8, 2019. Image 3794 JPG. You see, this is a lot easier to read than the actual documents that would be of interest to me. I mean, I can still sort of read them, but goddamn, they make it hard. Apple 10, One Island. What the hell is this, though? Some kind of casing or shelf or something. And it's the same one, just sideways. Oh, God. Hang on. Reverse, reverse, reverse. What does this say? Apple ID. Number 1 island. Number 1 island, okay. Quest. Pet name. Shiba. Model car. Firebird. Something team. It could be an F at the start. Last half of that word is Matt. And balls. BULLS, although that could obviously be a type of balls or something like that. Quest or something. Maybe it's some kind of to-do list for the island. Anyway, nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing to read. Unify server. Okay, so that's the server. Or the manual server. Like, I'm really a bit of a techno twit, so, you know, please excuse my incorrect use of jargon if indeed that happens. Alright, let's have a look at what this says. Zone B, Building 2, Room E, in server, rock position 19, Unify server, main ID 1735K, 788A, 20903234, Bull 9F, W2 2TP, drives 12. Okay. Just notes for the external hard drives. Or internal hard drives, I guess. There is a bunch of hard drives. There we go. Nothing to read, nothing to read. Default network settings, nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. What does this say? I think this is the same note. Zone B, Building 2, Room E, server in rock, position 28, SN MXQ824 AIR. 6 bay 8, maybe that's a scribbling out mistake. With 146 GB drives and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Coycroft Jordine Smith or something like that. Nothing else to read there. Nothing to read. Oh, God. Pictures of hard drives. Show me what's on the hard drives rather than take a picture of the physical thing. Okay, nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing to read. Jesus. Give me something more than this. There we go. Okay. Some kind of outhouse. Emergency license. Okay. Nothing to read. 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 More bathrooms. God damn. Okay. Or it could be like a change room. This could be like change rooms for the swimming pool or something. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Give me something interesting. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Okay, it's a nice looking bathroom at least compared to the other one. Nothing to read. Okay, they're obviously still building it. But nothing to read. Give me something to read. And I'm aware we've had a few more in the chat. I'll answer it once we've done this round. Nothing to read, nothing to read. Cat. Nothing to read. Cat. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Ah, Clara's asleep now. Yeah, might not. We might not see the cats tonight, but we'll keep trying as we stream. Wave Runner. Nothing to read. 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 Oh, hi. Out something. Yamaha. Terex. Yeah, I should just stop reading labels. I need to get on with this. I want to finish dataset 1 tonight. Preferably sometime this day, although it's 1:45 over here. Dozen eggs. But it's not eggs in there, it's box of tat. Alright, that's a lot of that. I mean, these are all car maintenance products, like car cleaning and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's something similar. Nothing to read. Ugh! But nothing to read. Nothing to read, nothing to read, nothing to read, and nothing to read. Okay, we got that done quick. Let's do the next lot. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. All right. Ooh, we've got some new posts. HY video title Cessation was not about doing anything to stop invasive species. I cannot remember that one. Inventory pics? Yeah, probably. Internal, like, just making sure the FBI knows that's what we're going to have. We're going to have, like, 8 drives. So if there's 7, somebody's nicked one. I'm not saying you knew that when making the video, mind you. Oh, not promoting, not doing anything for the IRO issue. Not saying you knew that when making the video, mind you. Yeah, I mean, I try not to make any personal, like, political thoughts or whatever. Like, I try to keep my channel as neutral as possible, but I'm still an outlet for authors posting their thing. But yeah, I mean, I thoroughly believe in global warming, climate change, and all of that as well. So that's just my personal take on it. But normally, when other people are posting their weird stuff, that's not necessarily while obviously I'm the one that has to say it. I don't always have to agree. I know I'm late to the party, but who is running the book here? I got £10 at 3-1. The Trump took it passive from 2 congressmen at the same time. Well, who's running the book here? Well, at the moment it's me. But I mean, a lot of people are trying to make like political comments on the party, the political people they don't like. That's not what we're doing here. I just want to read the thing. I'm not trying to make any kind of political, jabs or anything like that. It might be good to make a pinned comment on that video saying you support actions to prevent invasive species, lessen their ecological damage. Thought it might be good to let you know. Sure. I mean, I don't necessarily, I can't even remember that video. But no. I mean, I don't necessarily agree that you should, when faced with a problem, you should do nothing. So Net Narrator is straight, it seems. Anything that ends with Oline is worth a second glance. Okay, well, I'll have a look. Alright. So, Little St. James. So this is presumably the plans for what he wants for the island. I mean, from what we've seen of it so far, it's not representative of what's up here. But again, I am obviously... I'm in the wrong section. And I haven't even loaded all the photos. God damn it. Let me just make sure I get all of these. Yeah, my mouse has been playing up a little bit. I need to get a new one. All right, there we go. Just need to load them up. Oh yeah, but I didn't realize that was a problem. Like, I'm just a mouthpiece for the author. Whatever I happen to say is not necessarily reflective of what I think. But I'm also not like the virtue signaling kind. I'm just there to read stuff. Really, I can have a few spicy takes from time to time, but for the most part, I'm still representative of a lot of people. Has it done any repeats? Yes, it has. Okay, well, we'll do these first. All right. Nothing to read here. Or here. Or here. Or here. Or here. Give me something to read, damn it. Or here. I want some juicy thing to read in this stream, ideally. If not, well, that's gonna suck. But we'll work with it. Nothing to read. 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 I'm sure there's plenty to read here. Do we get it? Will the FBI agent take a photo of it? Probably not. Well, that one says brute force, all-terrain vehicle. Okay, that's a vehicle manual. Nothing to read. 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 And we're back at the beginning. All right. So yeah, it basically skipped like the first couple of PDFs for some reason. Might have just been the way I selected it all. But anyway, we're back here. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Nothing to read. Sorry if I'm blitzing through this quickly. God, there's more of that wire gore as well. Could you try to find the file that is labeled as documents? We haven't got there yet. At the moment we're in dataset 1. So that's where we are at the moment. Once we're done with dataset 1, we'll move to 2, 3, ongoing. At the moment there's 8 datasets. But I showed it at the start. I can go back to it if you want. I'll move back to this in a sec. Let me just make sure we... There we are. So, what we're going for at the moment is basically from the top. We're going from the top down here. So, Epstein Files Transparency Act, dataset 1. I have downloaded all files. And if you view files, these are all PDFs. So, we did one. At the moment, it's at page 8. Let me just go back to 60. There we go. So it will go up to, if we go to 64, this will be the last one. It goes up to 3,158. And these are all as PDF files. And these are all, at the moment, they are images. So we will go to all of this at some point. I mean, yeah, the datasets will continue. So we'll go for dataset 2 next time. Anyway, let's move back a little bit. There we go. But we've also got the first phase of declassified Epstein files, which, I mean, I've had a look. It's not much. But we are going to go through this at some point. But the Epstein Files Transparency Act, that was the latest thing. And that's all of this here. So that's what I wanted to start with immediately. But also the previous Epstein files, I actually did that 2 years ago as well. So, I will eventually go through this. If there's anything I've not covered before, I will do it. But it's just, we're basically just going for it, going from the top down. That's the plan. So yeah, sorry, I'm answering questions on the side. I needed to do that tangent just to let people know, like, sort of what the aim of this stream is. The aim is to go through the entire lot. And this will happen over multiple streams. So the documents, I'm sure if there are documents, we will go through them eventually. It's just the documents we've seen so far. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the webcam, by the way. I'm used to not doing that. But yeah, the documents we've seen so far, we have had a few interesting ones in the first and second streams, of which I've clipped and posted on the channel. But we have had documents here, which I have tried to read. A lot of them are pixelated as you zoom in to sort of read the words. So we have done that, but actual, like, properly formatted documents, we haven't come across that yet, but I have no doubt we will. Okay, so I hope that helps. No, I'm sure nobody's like blaming me. It's just, I'm happy to explain, like, sort of what the game plan is, you know, for anybody that's confused. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, I should really have a few mods to answer a few questions as well, just while I'm yapping. Anyway, let's go back to the PDF reader. There we go. All right. So yeah, we should have ended on we should have moved on from that on a better photo. But yeah, this wire gore is horrible. But nothing to read there. Ah, God, and there's a close-up of it. Also, we've got plenty of duplicates. So this is like some kind of server room. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. So yeah, our focus is just on stuff to read. So yeah, you know, the pictures, I will point out interesting things in the pictures. There's a lot of duplicates, but I want stuff to read and be able to sort of disseminate and pick apart. All right, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, nothing to read there. Oh, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, or there, or there. Fuck. Give me something to read. Okay. Caution. Static sensitive devices used. To protect the prime circuit board from static electricity. Something discharge any body static by touching the ground terminal or where the ground is strapped. Jolly good. Right, well, nothing to read there apart from that. I'm not going to read random labels. I don't need to. Ooh, what the hell is that? This looks really good. Can't read shit though. Like, this writing is Can you read that? I can't read that. And as I'm zoomed in by 1600%. That's, yeah, I can't necessarily read it. Mattison, co-designing, maybe? Little St. James, and... Okay, so this is the Southern Grotto. Grotto... I mean, from what I don't know the exact definition of grotto, but I do know it's like a cave with a pool or something like that, or something. I don't know. But yeah, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we'll actually get a see it in one of the photos. But anyway, apart from that, nothing to read there. Oh God, this is interesting. Again, we can see Little St. James, U.S. Virgin Islands plans. Atlantic Ocean is there. I'm just trying to find like words I can read from this, but it's so goddamn tiny. Caribbean Sea, Southwest Point, Midday Sun, South Caribbean Sea. Yeah. It's a detailed map. It's got contour lines, and this is key because this is the center of it. They don't have a key for these, but these are all numbered. And these are at the center of the island. Although a lot of the stuff seems to be built up here as well. Ugh, fucking hell. Anyway, can't read anything from that. It's too tiny. And, well, what the hell is that? It's like a napkin. Can't read that either. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, office, lev something, library, lev something, staircase, lev something, I don't know, leverage, I don't know what that means. Garden paths or something, I don't think that's what that says. Okay, so these are various gardens. Water gardens, garden fountains, water gardens again. Kitchen, water gardens again. Lugia? What? Dining, courtyard, sound room. Okay, well, so it's obvious he's trying to expand massively. You know, there's no room in here that says basement or, you know, secret prison. But, you know, I can't ever wonder if that's what he intended at some point. But no, those aren't in there, so we're going to have to move to the next one. There's nothing else to read in that one, apart from what I just said. Madison Cox, 2002. New house plans. LSJ. Southern Grotto proposal. Topo with astronomical markings. And that's all that says on that note. And this is more pixelated than before. That's annoying. Still, we covered this bit in the last one. These are both water guns here. Oh, let's see what I can look at. Playroom, I think this says. Dining room, maybe? Yeah. Apart from that, you can't necessarily read it. It's too tiny. If I zoom in, can you read that? Well, I certainly couldn't. Anyway, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, or there. Okay. Brian Mossley Progress Survey, November 2003. Or Mossesev Progress Survey 2003. Yeah. So these are old plans. I may just be Epstein was trying to revive them in a way. Little St. James Garden concepts. Yeah. So, looks nice, but nothing to read. Well, hang on. Alright. Private bedroom and office. Gatehouse, main dock, or main deck. Plaza entrance, red border drive. Helicopter landing and junction. Yeah, junction. Mess streams and bamboo forest. Yeah. Italian terrace garden and formal gazebo. New House Gardens, approaching New House. The Something and Orchard. Palm Garden, the Great Steps, Secret Garden. Leeward Forests. Escapement, Stream, and the Salt Pond area. Dry Land Garden. And Mediterranean Gazebo. Bunch of gardens and gazebos. Very fancy. Anyway, nothing to read. Nothing to read. Jesus, what the hell does this say? I'll tell you what, if I get too tired, I might have to end my goal of trying to get to finishing dataset 1. And now, this one's very difficult to read. The trouble is, it's hard to work out what it is without context. And 2 levels. Got wind, well. 2 levels. The wanted. Could be reclaimed. Yeah, I can pick out fragments. So it could be reclaimed. So, for example, you know, presumably he inherited at some point. And just wanted to keep a little bit of what was already there. But I can't read the rest of that. That's so... Writing is so bad. Orphan... Kentish... Oh, fucking hell. Oh, that's... So this is Jeffrey. Question mark, something, question mark. Underfan, maybe? This is what this says. Helipad. Yeah, trouble is I can read snippets, I can read certain words. But actual... what it is very hard to read. See what you think of that handwriting. Because that's very... That's very difficult to make out. So I'm going to have to skip this one. It's a diagram anyway. And nothing to really read here either. Nothing to read there. These are all diagrams of like plans for the house. Okay, I can read this. Let me just rotate it. LSJ Epstein House remodel proposal undated. Okay. So these are like historical proposals, I think. But yeah, nothing to read there, nothing to read there, or there. Nothing to read there. Yeah, sorry. Like that handwriting from earlier is just too illegible. I can't read it. It's ridiculous. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so this is a bit more fancy than what we actually saw in the photos. View toward main entry one. Yeah, view toward main entry. Why do you have them upside down? Living room, south elevation. View toward deck, which is this. Oh, God. Well, it's the same one, but he has to rotate it again. Yeah, view toward deck. Something B. Okay. Plan of dock. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. Why do you have to automatically have them that way? It's ridiculous. Okay, pavilion at cliff. So yeah, these are all plans that never came to pass, from what I can see. But it's clear that Epstein had some kind of ambition. Nothing to read there. Or there. Or there. View toward main entry 1. We've seen this before. Living room south elevation. Saw that. And we've seen that as well. And that. And that. Yeah, we've seen these all before. They're the same ones. Pavilion at cliff. And nothing to read there. Nothing to read there. Oh, fuck. All right. So this could be the name of the building, but it says west as well. So it's a west side view towards this thing. Very, very strange. Again, impossible to read. Yeah, it was just too illegible. I mean, we've noted it for the stream, but it would be great if there was a version I could actually read of, you know, the handwritten stuff before, and the annotations is really, really weird. Nothing to read here. Yeah, or here. It's the same one again. View to a main entry. So I'm going to skip through these. We've read that before. The view. Site plan. Yep. Nothing to read. Oh. The fuck does this say? I'm not even sure where it's supposed to be reversed. Ah, my God. Okay, unless, of course, this is a bit of paper and it's sort of faded through to the other side. I want to say. Yeah, I think so. I've rotated it all around. It doesn't make sense unless it's like, if you flip the paper over, you could read that probably. But no, I can't read it in that state. Is that better? Yep, that's it. I was dead on the money. LSJ new house proposal undated 2000? Yeah, 2000 dead. Ooh. United States Department of Agriculture. Yep, Natural Resources Conservation Service. Yep. Rillsbury Sound. That's what that says there. The Island Out. Oh, Day Island Out. Caribbean Sea. So this is like, okay, parcel number C, parcel number B, parcel number A. And yeah, the amount of acres as well. So these are very old documents related to the island. Little St. James Island, cabanas, pavilions, port and screening room. Bright Flash. 0604 2009, 80% design development process package, revised 3D views, schematic landscape plant selection and planting plan, revised screening room finishes. Gensler Santa Monica, CA 90405. Little St. James Island. Yeah, we've seen that before. We've seen that before. and nothing to read there. Okay. Oh, God, I'm drained. I might actually call the stream here. We've just done 700, and there will be potentially 450 files left, but it's been 2.5 hours. I'm absolutely exhausted. I was afraid this was going to happen. So I'm actually going to end the stream here. We are going to continue tomorrow, I think. We're going to get dataset 1 done. I was able to get like 1,000 done before, but I did start later today than usual, and I'm still not a little bit under the weather. I'm just going to try and answer a few chat questions while we're at it. 2 hours behind the live. Lugia the Pokemon? No. Different word. The author presented government measures to prevent invasive species. Yeah, you can see why I've got to call it, because my voice is completely buggered. But the author presented government measures to prevent invasive species extremely negatively by having... Yeah. I mean, you got to deal with, I believe in dealing with invasive species. It's happened with, like, the grey squirrel in my country, for example. And just something of some company at the end. Yeah. But, I mean, I encourage people to look through this as well and see what you think, because it might be clearer for you on the stream than it is for me to zoom in. But, I mean, I'm sure you can tell by my voice. My voice is just cracked now. So, I could power through and try and do 450 more pictures, but I suspect I can't do that, and I'm feeling the burn. So I will be carrying on with this tomorrow. I'm determined to get dataset 1 done. As I say, I will be doing the lot. It might take me a little while to do. We spoke about the writing earlier. It was mirrored. I didn't say mirrored at the time. That would have been a great way to describe it. Lionfish in American waters. Lol, that's another invasive species. Yeah, I'm sure we've all got examples. Oh my god, you can hear my voice. My voice is gone now. I think I've killed it. Okay, I haven't even drunk any alcohol. But I think something else I know of is the wild hog. Because I will admit, I've seen a few videos of like those wild hog traps, and they just come down in a circle and they just trap like a bunch of them at the same time. But yeah, goddamn, my vocal cords are very achy today. I just need to sleep it off. But yeah, no worries. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming to the stream. Unfortunately, we didn't find any interesting bits here. Indeed, we couldn't even get the cats to come up. I mean, I could try picking Clara up, but no, I'm not going to do it. She's sleeping in the corner right there, and she's absolutely relaxed. I'm not going to wake her up. But I'm going to go to bed, and chances are she'll probably come up and cuddle up with me anyway. So I'm going to rest. I'm going to get better. As I say, I didn't come into this 100%. But hopefully I can build up some more momentum and get this done and catch up to where I should be, because we can't stop talking about the Epstein stuff, no matter the various distractions. I mean, everything is a distraction from the Epstein stuff, including me getting ill, apparently, and my cats, and looking at the chat. But don't worry, I'm still doing my best. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. I'll be trying to do this again tomorrow, if I'm well enough to do so. Like, whatever happens, I cannot stream Friday, unfortunately. I've already arranged to get absolutely shit-faced drunk. That's my excuse for not doing it. I've got to take care of myself, and there's been a bunch of things going on, so I definitely need to cut loose a little bit. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I hope to see you again soon. And as I say, if you're not able to make it for future streams, I will still try and clip the interesting stuff that happens for your benefit, because we can't stop talking about this.